Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of The Spark. I'm Coach David. Hope you're doing fantastic on today. And I hope that everything in your life is moving in the direction that you would like for it to be moving. After all, you are the architect of your life, which means you get to design, build, and live the life that you want. So I'm very thrilled to be able to share something with you on today that I think is going to impact your life and, hope that it will help you to grow and to develop. We are going to go into a lesson on today, which I think is very valuable. We're going to talk about managing the inner voice. In other words, we're going to be dealing with that self-talk. Yeah, that subject right there. So when we start dealing with self-talk, I'm going to give you a few explanations. I'm going to help you understand what self-talk is, where it's derived from, why it's important that you understand it. And then after that, we're going to talk about some things that come up in the self-talk and how we as individuals, we as ourselves can deal with it, can manage it, can actually overcome it and be very successful. So let's get some definitions working. Self-talk. Self-talk is that voice that's on the inside of your head. It speaks to you all day long. Now, sometimes you ignore it. I get it. And sometimes you need to ignore it. But the truth of the matter is this self-talk, this inner conversation, this inner voice, if you will, is always feeding you and giving you information. Now, the information can be one, it can be positive. Two, it can be instructional. Three, it can be neutral. Or four, it can be negative. So you can get positive inner talk. And that's what I hope to work with you on today so that you will have more positive inner talk. Or, like it could be something like, you got this, let's go. And so, that's that positive inner talk that you need to continue to move forward. It could be instructional, such as, okay, remember, this is the next step. This is how you get it done, or it could be neutral. It could be not positive or negative or anything else. It could just be like, hey, moving forward. And so that's the neutral. Or the one that we're going to deal with on today, it could be negative. That negative internal voice, that negative self-talk is what hinders a lot of time us moving forward, us having success, us doing those things that we desire to do. So we're going to deal with that on today. Now, you might be asking the question, why does this matter one way or another, Coach David? Well, here's why. Because your brain believes whatever you tell it. As a matter of fact, the loudest voice that you're going to hear and the one that you're going to hold on to the most is the one that you are telling it. And so your inner voice, that's really a part of you. And so you always say, why does the inner voice, why does it sound like me? Because it is you. But what you have to learn is how to manage it, how to control it, how to direct it in such a way that you can be successful. Because as I said, your brain is going to believe whatever you tell it, even if it's not true. You've heard people say this before, where they've said, this person tells so many lies that they're beginning to believe their lies. Yeah, that happens. Why? Because the brain cannot tell the difference between a truth or a lie. And if you lie to yourself long enough, you'll start believing the lies that you tell. Okay, so the brain can't tell the difference between what reality is, what's real, and repeated ongoing information. Now, that's good to know, because if I want to move to a certain level, all I have to do is repeat that information in a positive way over and over and over again, and my brain is going to accept that information as fact, as truth. So we need to understand why that's so important. So why, when we go in and we start talking about the negatives of self-talk, we can deal with it in such a way to help us, to strengthen us, to make sure that we're managing this, that we're controlling this, that we don't let this get out of hand in a negative way and take us down a path that we don't want to go. So let's deal with what I would say is four of the most common negative self-talks or negative things that pop in your head. And we're going to deal with it. And what I hope to do is to give you a solution to overcome each and every one of them in such a way that you're going to be beneficial to yourself, and you're going to be able to manage and control that self-talk. You're going to be able to deal with it and take yourself to another level. So here's the first one. The first one is those negative automatic thoughts. That's right. Those are the thoughts that show up unannounced and uninvited. they show up and you're just like, where did that come from? And it usually comes across as you never do this or you always do that or such case. And what you have to understand is that those thoughts are coming from within. And the thing about it is that you can manage that. You can get control of those thoughts and you can take them over and you can take the thoughts captive. And then what you need to do is to produce something different. So I have something that I call the 3 C's. The first thing is you got to catch it. What do you mean? You've got to recognize when that automatic negative self-thought is coming forward. You got to recognize it. You got to catch it. And when you catch it, the next thing you have to do is challenge it. Why is this true, or is this true? You have to challenge those thoughts. Don't allow a thought to take up space in your brain, in your mind, in your head, and it's not welcome there. So you got to catch it. You got to challenge it. The third thing you have to do, you have to change it. This is one of the key things about managing negative self-talk. When those things show up uninvited and unannounced, you immediately catch it, you challenge it, and then you change it to what it should be. It's not like I always mess up. No, you've got to catch that and say, wait a minute. Now, is that true? Do I always mess up? No, I don't always mess up. There are times when I understand that, hey, I have some hiccups in the road, but it's not always. So what do I got to do? I got to change that. I got to understand that I am prepared, that I am ready, and that I am going to go after this. And even if it doesn't work the way that I want it to work, that's okay, because I got another chance. I got another opportunity. So you got to deal with those negative automatic self-thoughts in with the 3 C's. Catch it, challenge it, and then change it. That's number 1. Here's the next one, self-criticism. Oh my goodness. I tell you right now, I think this is one of the things that does us more damage than anything else is our own negative self-criticism. And what it is it comes up in our head like, I should be here, or I should be doing this, or I should be able to do this. That's what comes from what we call the perfectionist mentality. Those of us who understand that, who coach that, you want everything to be perfect. Well, I got news for you. Everything is not always going to be perfect, but what can I do? I can take the part that is good and use it to get higher and to grow stronger. This is what I would challenge any person to do who is always having that self-criticism of, beating themselves up, basically is what it is with that negative self-criticism. Ask yourself this right here. What would any good performance coach or life coach, what would they say to you? How would they coach you? And so then what you need to do is do what I call self-coach. You need to coach yourself. You need to be able to talk to yourself in such a way to let self know, self, you're okay. Hey, self, you're improving. Self, stay with it, stay consistent. And that's the way you coach yourself up. And many times what we need to learn to do, we need to learn how to coach ourselves up. In the Bible, I read about David. King David was going through something in his life. And the Bible says that David encouraged himself in the Lord. In other words, David coached himself up. We need to learn to coach ourselves up. We need to understand that, hey, it's okay. I know I'm capable. I know I'm improving. I know I'm getting better. And all I got to do is coach myself up and I will be okay. And get away from this negative self-criticism, this perfectionist mentality. I got to let that go. And I'm the perfect coach, myself, I'm the perfect coach for me to coach myself through that. So that's number 2. Here's number 3. Number 3 is overthinking. I call this analysis paralysis. Why do I call it analysis paralysis? Well, it's a key term that I heard a long time ago, and it just fits because here's what happens. Normally, when we're in that mode of overthinking, okay, our brain gets stuck in overthinking and we can't move forward. In other words, we're trying to be perfect. We want to avoid making mistakes, but we're stuck. And so now we hesitate or we even fail to act. That's what is the root outcome, if you will, of overthinking. So I have to understand that sometimes I can get bogged down with the mental activity of thinking. And that inner self-talk is bringing so much stuff to me to try to analyze it all. I can't analyze it all. So what I have to learn to do, and here's your solution, I got to have a one-word cue that's going to settle my mind, and it's going to cause me to focus my brain, and it provides one avenue for me to follow. Now, for me, my word is always set. That's just my word. What does that mean? Set. That means I'm ready, I'm able, let's move forward. And when I say set, I have a direction in which I want to go. I understand what that direction is. And so that just eliminates all the overthinking. I am not against you considering everything. I'm not against that. But what I am against is when you have so much information and all of this negative self-talk and all of these things are coming at you that you get paralyzed and you don't even act or you hesitate. And many of great opportunities have been missed out on, one, because of hesitation, and two, because of failure to act. Provide that one word cue that gets you to cut through all of the fog and all of the information that's coming at you, and then you can move forward in a positive direction. So that's number 3. Here's number 4. Number 4 is much like number 3, but it comes from the emotional side of the house. This is what we call emotional overload. What is that? It's when my emotions hit me with so many different things so fast that my mind just can't process it all. Maybe I get some bad news. Maybe I got all of these demands on my job, or maybe I just had an emotional conversation with somebody and I am overloaded. And now I can't focus, I can't think, and I definitely can't respond in a way that I need to. I am emotionally overloaded, and all of this, that inner voice is bringing all this stuff to me and ramming around in my brain, and I have got to do something to stop that. So here's what I got to do. I got to interrupt the emotional overload. And there's 3-step process that I use to do this. Number 1, release it. You got all this stuff coming at you, release it and refocus. In other words, when I'm refocusing, what's important now? That's how I win. Look at that. Win. What's important now? That's how I win. So now I understand that, boy, hey, I'm going to release it and I'm going to refocus. And I'm refocusing on the win. In other words, when I say win, W-I-N, what's important now? Then I got to learn to breathe. It's amazing when I just breathe in. I hold it for 4 seconds. I breathe out for 6 seconds. Now I start getting clarity. Now I can do what I call the next step, reset. So release and refocus, breathe and reset. And that will eliminate a lot of that emotional overload. And then you can win by focusing on what's important now. So I've given you 4 things that self-talk will do to you. 1, those negative automatic thoughts. 2, that self-criticism. 3, overthinking, analysis paralysis. And 4, the emotional overload. Now, I want to kind of close this out by saying this right here. And I think you should hang on to this. If you don't hang on to anything else, hang on to this. The loudest voice in your life is the one that only you hear. I'm going to say that again. The loudest voice in your life is the one that only you hear. It's the one that's in your head. So what you got to do, you got to manage that voice, you got to train that voice, and you got to lead that voice so that you can have great self-talk. And when it begins to speak, you've managed it in such a way that this simple 3-word phrase ought to come up all the time. I'm ready. That's what should happen. I am ready. That 3-word phrase should come up all the time, no matter what I face. No matter if the automatic negative thoughts come, that's okay. I'm ready. If the self-criticism come, I'm ready. If the overthinking tries to show up, the analysis paralysis, no. I'm ready. And if emotional overload comes, I know how to refocus and breathe and reset. I am ready. So I hope this has helped you on today. Manage that inner voice. Your call to action all this week is to manage the inner voice. Don't allow the inner voice to dictate to you what your day or what your life or what your week is going to be like. You get to dictate to it. You encourage yourself and you use these simple solutions that I've given you on today. And I commit to you that you're going to have one of the best weeks of your life. So stay with it and continue to move forward. But I'm going to wrap it up with that right there. I hope you'll share this with somebody as well and bless them in their life. But remember this right here. I want you to remember this. You are the architect of your life. And because you are, you can manage that inner voice and you can deal with the self-talk. But most of all, I want you to remember this. I'm Coach David. I believe in you. I will see you on next week. You have a great week all week long. Bye.